firsthand the devastation left behind by Hurricane Maria.
It was the most powerful hurricane Dominica has ever faced, leaving 73,000 islanders without shelter, water or power. And Angellica had a personal reason for wanting to visit as well.
Dominica is a proudly independent country, but it needs its friends in times like these. Although no longer a British colony, it has strong connections to the UK, and Dominicans living overseas have been answering the island's call for help. This is personal for me because it's where my late grandfather grew up.
Once you enter the village, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Exactly. Then we can go from there. I'm going to be crossing the island to his village of Marigot. During my stay, I've discovered just how slowly life has been returning to normal here.
How hard has it been to keep getting the bread going since the hurricane?
Tough, very difficult. After the storm, there was no flour. You have to be running up and looking for flour, and then. But now things getting back on track.
Yeah.
Thanks God.
Do you have family in England? So maybe they'll see this.
You'll see that.
That you fed me, fed me. But we've been on rations for so many days. Bread hasn't tasted so good. I'm loving this.
Phone services still aren't great, so people stop us to send messages home.
Yes, that's the family Gibbs, John, St. Joe.
Oh, my friend Sandra, look me there. Tash, it's Mommy Queenie.
Are you from the UK?
Yes.
What part?
I'm from London.
25 years ago, yeah?
Where do you used to live?
Bolton, Manchester area.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can hear the accent.
Yeah, I can hear it in yours as well.
Do you still have family in England?
Yes, got 3 sons.
Were they worried about you?
Very much so, especially after the hurricane. You did not experience it, did you?
No.
Thank God for that. You don't want to experience
No.
that, my dear.
Like everyone on the island that day, Rudolphia Corriette did experience it.
All of a sudden, the sea breaking the window, only salt water are going in the eye. Then my daughter and her boyfriend hold me under my arm and pull me. I tell you, all time, when I wake up the morning, that is what I found. That 2 houses mash up on me.
Pont Michel was the worst hit village on the island. At least 14 people died here. Rudolphia also suffered a tragic loss.
I lost 2 of my granddaughters. They was between the river and the sea. But I buried one and we haven't seen the other one.
Back on my trek across the island, where we were hit by a sudden downpour, we get a lucky break. A local man called Egbert worked with my great-uncle and shows us the way to where he lived.
I was a police officer for 27 years in Dominica, and then he and I were very close. The blue house you see right there, that is where Uncle could have been. This house in enough.
As we arrive, I'm soon told that this is the place where my grandfather also used to live.
All this property belonged to him. All over there, up to there.
He's not, you know, you can visit him.
That's my great uncle.
Yes.
I can't believe it. In a house next to the land my grandfather owned is his brother, my great uncle Mac, aged 100, still here. I go to meet him for the first time. It's a private moment.
I feel so overwhelmed a little bit. Well, no, I do. I feel really overwhelmed because we came to Marigot and I thought we probably would not find any family, and within the space of 20 minutes it sort of like snowballed into I met my great uncle. I feel such a connection with everybody here, and I feel a bit annoyed with myself that I didn't come here sooner. Probably with my granddad, actually. Although it's a really sad time for the people of Dominica, they're so resilient and positive, and I feel so blessed to be part of it, really.
Well done, Angellica.
Yeah.
So how closely affected she was.
Completely. I can't wait to see her in person now to talk to her about the experience.
Yeah.
But days after the hurricane, the UK sent one of its warships, HMS Ocean, to the Caribbean to pick up British nationals wanting to return home. And Anita Vidal and her 2 children were among them. Welcome, Anita. And you've got Columbus there with you as well. You know, looking at Angellica's film, it's not hard to see why, of course, you had to leave, especially with the children, but it still must have been a very tough decision for you.
It was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make, and my husband and I, we had to think about it so much before saying, yeah, it is just too dangerous. There's no food, there's no water, there were no services available, and the health and safety of the kids and everybody else was really at risk, and still is at risk.
Yeah, but still, you had to make that decision. So hard for these 2, especially leaving their dad at home. Do they understand like the gravity of the situation?
They do, and up to the little one, not as much as the bigger one, but as Fifi Grace, because she's a bit bigger. But every day they'll ask for daddy, and they will cry, and we try and call him as much as possible, but communication is still a bit sketchy. So we try and get through maybe every 2 or 3 days and ring him.
What's your plans then, long term? Is Chris hoping to come over? I mean, I know you've had some good news today, haven't you?
Yes, we had some trouble when we first came back to England, in that I wasn't completely a resident yet, but now I am a resident, and we were given a house this morning. So we're hoping next step is to look at getting Chris to join us as a family, and hopefully way before Christmas would be nice.
Lots of positives. And another one actually being that Greg James and you have a certain connection. Not that Greg knows, but you do, Anita. Don't be worried, buddy. Don't be worried.